right. So as I was saying,
Yes.
I still, for as it goes, for as far as self-worth goes, I feel that I'm not having as much of an issue that I used to, and it has everything to do with the me making the maneuvers, and let's say what we're doing right now. What we're doing right now gives me a feeling of self-worth I've never had before, because I'm doing something I want to be doing with a friend that I love.
Okay.
I'm doing something I love with a friend that I love, hoping that it helps people with love.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
100%. What if someone doesn't have friends and they want to do small, small things to help themselves build a little bit. So here's I should get. I believe that small for me anyway, to build my self-worth, I needed to physically do actions that convinced my mind that I was worth anything. Does that make sense?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So if somebody doesn't have a good friend like I have you, and can sit down and openly discuss things, I think
Where do they start?
Yeah, I think we should talk about small things they could do for themselves that will just start the wheel in motion to build even the slightest bit, because small amounts of self-worth have changed my perspective in my life dramatically.
100%. I think it's hard. It's hard for me because I have and you do, we're both single parents.
Mm-hmm.
So we have these other motivating factors that kind of force us to want to have self-worth so that we can teach it to our children. So for somebody that is, let's say, single, has no children, is younger, if I was 20 years old and I had half of the understanding of the things I did now, of the things I do now, right? Like how do you say it? Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, if I knew then what I know now, yeah.
Yeah, I'd be much better off. But how can we tell somebody right now that's in their 20s how to start building that self-worth? Because we started so late. I started just a few years ago, after doing my first interview on Software Underbellies, when I really started to see, oh my God, all these people are saying these things about me. If I continue to act the way that people are saying they're seeing me,
Yeah.
that's why I wake up feeling okay with myself, because I feel like I started to act the way that people were saying they saw me, they saw me.
I have to say that some of in my opinion, I don't ever remember really talking as highly about a person as I remember talking about you on my Soft White Underbelly interview. And I don't know if people understand it, but when I did that interview, it was around Halloween last year, so maybe 5 months ago. I had just recently seen you the weekend before that, so we're talking, I did my interview in October 2023.
Right.
I hadn't seen you since 2016, and that was how I described you. That was how much impact you had on me back then.
And I had no clue until we talked. You called me and said, "Hey, let's have coffee. How are you doing?" But you kept checking. You checked in with me no matter what.
I tried, yeah.
We always stayed. At least you always sent me a message, a happy birthday, or something. Hey, bud, hope you're okay. Like at least twice a year you did. I know it.
Yeah.
Because when I was in Hawaii, I think a lot of people that cared about me really started to be worried. It really worried people that I had nothing going on in my social media. When it did, it looked really bad. Yeah. I just was in such an unhealthy place. If I wouldn't, I guess that was the low I needed to hit in order for me to understand there's more to life than spinning wheels.
Yeah.
There's more to life than just waking up, surviving, and then going to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, that's not living at all. If I were trying to tell somebody a couple things that they could do.
Let's say quantify.
Quantify self-worth?
Yeah.
I mean, I had to do. There's books like that talk about making your bed in the morning as like a win, even though it's a small thing. So, I come from a time of not brushing my. I don't think I brushed my teeth for 2 years.
Yeah.
You know
for
what
sure,
I mean?
for sure.
Not showering for 2 weeks.
When I was in Hawaii, there was definitely no grill brushing because the water could kill you.
And that wasn't my priority. So
right.
If somebody, let's say they're not, destitute and living on the street. Let's say they have a place to live and stuff. I would say like starting as small as possible. For me, building self-worth is like going and getting myself a haircut and like
Yes.
my face trim.
Yes.
For a girl, I also doesn't have to be for a girl. I'll go get a pedicure and have somebody rub on my feet and you know,
It's not just treating yourself, but you're also getting a feeling of, I like the way I'm looking right now. I like the way I'm feeling because I'm treating myself to quantify it, right?
yes.
I'm treating myself like I'm worthy of what I want.
Yes, even and don't get me wrong.
Even if I'm faking the funk.
I don't. Yeah, that's what I'm going to
You
say.
gotta
I don't
pretend.
even always believe it, but the action of me physically going and getting a haircut, or going and paying $60 for an hour massage, or doing
What kind of
going-
are we? Whatever. I mean, are
a
we
regular one, a deep tissue,
deep tissue?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Just not.
Or
There's nothing at the
going
end.
on
Those are good $200 massage.
going on a hike, just doing these like small things that even if it doesn't immediately have an impact on me, I'm doing these things physically to show my brain and to show my consciousness that like I'm worth doing that for. Because there were times where I didn't go get a haircut, or many times, or didn't brush my teeth, or put on clean clothes. But physically doing those actions, maybe not immediately, but it subconsciously, I might not even recognize it, but it's showing myself through action that I'm worth doing those things. And then all of a sudden it becomes a routine. Now I get my haircut every 2 weeks, and it's not like I've reached some point where my self-worth is untouchable. I still
Right.
have-
Yeah.
I
That's
still have
not a
days-
thing. I don't think.
No, I
don't
still
think
have
that's a
days
thing.
where I look in the mirror and I'm like, you're gross,
Fucking weirdo.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
you're
have the
ugly.
same days.
But yesterday I thought I was the man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, how could you even believe that about yourself yesterday, you hideous street urchin? Like,
Well, how about this? Hey, let's talk about this then. I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm saying the difference between self-worth and validation, the fucking line is so fine.
yeah. So okay.
Right? Am I wrong? Am I
You're
wrong that
not.
the feeling of self-worth and validation kind of go hand in hand? Like if I'm seeking validation in something, it's usually something for me to self-define my own self-worth.
So I think that the distinction between self-worth and validation is the same distinction between pride and ego. If I do things that I am proud of, I build pride. If I just act out and like do things because I like think I'm great at something, or I just spout off at the mouth, I'm doing that out of ego. So self-worth, the worth has to come from within. Validation for me is, I think that girl's beautiful. I think she is worth something, probably more than I'm worth. So if I can attain her, whatever that means, be my girlfriend, just have sex with me, just pay attention to me. I then am validated through her. I didn't build any self-worth.
Right,
I allowed
right.
her to validate me, but self-worth I need to do. I need to show myself, because somebody else can't build your self-worth. I think if you're in a healthy relationship, you can help each other build their own. But the validation, they feel similar. It's like anger and I don't know, some other feeling. They feel the same, but like one actually you're probably scared, the other one you're
Anger and aggression.
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference? One is an action, one is a feeling.
Yeah.
So self-worth and validation, let's say one is a feeling and one is an action.
And
right?
validation, once that woman, like I'm speaking about, leaves, I'm no longer validated.
Yeah.
Self-worth,
Bingo.
I can hold on to. Like, I can hold on to my self-worth. I lose it sometimes, but I can hold on to it. I do a bunch of things that prove to myself, not only that I'm worth it, but that, like, I care about me. No one's taking that from me. No, I mean, you could try, but, like, someone comes over and they're like, hey, you look like an idiot. It's like, okay, but I know that I don't, because I'm taking care of myself. I just got a haircut.
Right.
I go to the gym going to the gym. The self-worth is there. And then, but if that woman who is validating me is like, you're ugly, not only is my validation gone, but then I'm questioning my self-esteem and my self-worth, because it's just topical. It's not, there's no weight to it. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think yesterday we talked a little bit about, I was trying to say the difference between being humble and having humility.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And have you ever met somebody that is very self-proclaimed?
Yeah.
to where all they do is talk about how great they are and these things that they've done and these things that they've made, but you're not seeing any of that.
Well, it's the same as a girl. It's like, I don't like drama. Okay, get out of here because that's all you like.
That's what
So
you.
yeah.
As soon as you tell
I'm
me,
so humble.
I don't
It's
want
like,
to.
get
I'm so
out of here.
a
Dude.
very humble, creative. You know, a keystone in this. You know, somebody like I've never felt. Okay, what makes me feel important is, does my son need me today? If he didn't have his father, would he be better off? And because the answer in my heart is always no,
Of course.
there is an amount of self-worth that comes along with that. I don't know if I'm attaching it to him. My self-worth is attached to my son, but I know there's an action in me being his father, me taking care of him, that no matter what, I walk out that front door of my house, you can walk us straight to me and be like, you're a piece of shit dad. And my son will probably yell at you.
Well, and that's, you know.
I
that you're
don't
good.
have to, I could take it. I could walk away and be like, I get you're having a bad day, but
Because on a daily basis, maybe some days slip by, but on a consistent basis, you behave as a good father. You perform actions that prove that you're a good father. So if someone comes around and says you're not, your actions, no matter who says it to you, even if your own father said to you, you're not a good father, because you respect his opinion.
right.
Through your actions, you've proved to yourself that you are. So it doesn't matter what somebody else says.
Right,
I mean,
that's
or it
self-
shouldn't. It
And
still
that's
might.
the self-worth.
Yes.
I don't seek validation throughout my son from my son. I don't ask him, hey buddy, how am I doing as a dad? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just make sure that everything that I didn't get when I was a kid, if my mind is on top of him getting those things, boom, there's a self-worth. That's self-worth. That is not validation.
Correct.
That is me breaking a cycle.
Because you're not getting anything from that. You're sacrificing yourself for the good of your son. In validation, you're pulling something in to make you feel better. You're not sacrificing anything.
There's nothing selfish about
No.
right. There's nothing
No.
selfish about me trying to be the best father I can be.
No. And
Even when I fuck up. You know?
same thing about you being a good dad is the same question about how you know someone is humble. You'll know someone is humble. There's only two ways to know. You watch them act in a humble manner, or people who know them well, you speak to them and they explain to you how humble their friend is. Just like being a good dad.
Right.
I can either watch you be a good dad, or the person who you are a good dad to tells me about it.
Bingo.
You walking around being like, I'm the best dad. It's like, you're probably not. Why do you feel the need to go out of your way saying that?
Right.
Because you're insecure, because you're afraid that you're not. So maybe if I'm loud enough, just like the kids from the East Coast in treatment, dude, if I'm loud enough, people will think I'm tough, so they
Right.
won't test me.
And I
they
remember
got
those
tested,
kids. And
anytime they got tested, they got embarrassed.
yeah,
that's why
except for
I'm
Shug.
quiet.
Except for Shug.
Yeah.
Sh-
Yeah.
Shug
But he's
White.
quiet. He's quiet.
He was man. He was a sweet. He was so sweet, bro. To women, he was sweet. Even to my brother Kenny and him were really good friends. And Kenny had woken up to him one time butt naked, shooting cocaine.
Yeah.
And this is Shug White, you know.
And he's the
Shug
type of
White-
dude that would be like, if you came to him with a problem, he'd be like, listen, I promise you, this is not the route you want to go on.
Yeah.
Like-
yeah.
And I forgive you. So let's stop.
Yeah, he would give people second chances. I remember there was a guy that thought himself as very tough, got at Sean that way, and he was like this. Do you forget who you're talking? You must have forgotten who you're talking to, huh, pal?
Yeah.
Why don't I give you a chance? And the dude turned around and walked away. We know who I'm talking about.
Of course.
Yes, the
And
loudest guy ever.
I like to think that there will come a time, or maybe it is now, if someone came to you and was like, you're a piece of shit dad, where you would be like Sean and be like, do you know who you're talking to?
Exactly.
Because just like Sean knows that he will destroy another human being with
So
his fists,
fast, so
just like
fast.
you would. But
Yeah.
you would know in your heart, like,
I would chuckle at that. If
Yeah.
somebody was like, hey, man, I don't think you're a good dad because of what happened in Hawaii, I'd say, I understand where you're coming from, man. Like,
I'm not
there
proud
was-
of Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm not proud of those times, and those are things that I'll never forget. To make sure those things never happen again. I'm constantly questioning my parenting, and I think that's what makes me a good father.
Of course.
Is that I never ever settled in, because people say, hey, I think you're a good dad. I believe it. I never ever fully believe it until I can show myself through his eyes and his glee and his mannerisms and his behaviors and how my son, wherever he goes, he gets invited back.
Yeah.
He was a pleasure. He was a joy.
It's
He
so
was
good to hear.
I keep thinking they're lying.
It's
You know,
so
I'm like,
good
man,
to
he
hear.
he put you up to this shit, didn't he?
It's so
You know,
good.
it is. And because I've put a lot of effort into making sure he knows why those things are important, to be polite, to be respectful. Why respect is so important. I wrote this down the other day about this. The difference between how people were respectful when we were young, and the way that how respectful is looked at now is depend. People are respectful as long as
it suits them.
it suits them, or the police are next to them, or there's a phone filming you. Then they can be disrespectful. But as soon as you're in a dark corner, all that disrespect goes the fuck away when you're with a real person.
Yeah.
Because now it's like
now there's consequences.
Nowadays it's so much harder for people to get the consequences when they are acting out of the levels of propriety.
Yeah.
Or
because
being
everything's
disrespectful.
virtual. Everything's virtual. Yeah. I'm real tough on the other side of a keyboard.
Oh, bro.
Are you kidding me?
My son, he'll tell you all sorts of crazy stuff.
I believe that.
And
he's what, 10?
He's 10. Yeah.
And he's talking to grown men.
Yeah. As soon as you meet him, he's like, hi.
Yeah.
And he's like the nicest kid in the world.
So
you know what I mean?
What you just started to talk about Hawaii was, I think, is a great topic as well. Is accountability. You were taking accountability for.
Oh, I do.
Not being the best, and I'm not saying you were the worst either, but
I was just selfish in an addict, and I was in addiction, and I was being selfish, and I didn't want people to know that I was being selfish and in addiction, so I drugged my son around with me.
Yeah. Because
if I didn't have him with me, then I'm obviously not being a good dad.
Yeah, I understand the correlation.
You know, and there was only a couple weeks here and there where he wasn't with me, and there was only 2 incidents that happened to where when he was with me, he witnessed something terrible happen to me.
Yeah.
You know, or he's seen me do something terrible to someone else. You know, he didn't see me like I got into a fight in front of him, a fist fight in front of him, and I hurt the guy real bad. It made his eardrum bleed. You know, and what was funny is that my son came out and warned the guy. He literally said, "You don't want no smoke, bro."
Yeah.
He's like, "Don't do it," because I was like, "Hey, if you get up out of that chair, I'm gonna put you right back down in it." You know.
Yeah.
And the guy was being a scumbag. And I was just telling him, hey, you're a fucking scumbag. And he's like, say it to my face. I was like, I have absolutely no problem with walking over there and letting you know you are a fucking scumbag. He's like, you're not going to. And I was like, okay.
And I know you don't want to behave like that.
No, man. And I just wanted to get the point across to this person. Hey, your behavior is affecting me.
Yeah. Behave like that all you want when me and my son aren't around.
Yeah.
But while we're present, I don't allow people to behave like that in front of my son.
I have limits in my propriety. I hold people to levels of propriety that I don't think people are used to.
So on the accountability thing, I think we could talk a long time about accountability. But with the self-worth, so it kind of goes along with self-worth as well. So my divorce, my wife, in the beginning of my divorce, so my wife had an affair, and we got divorced because she wanted to be with someone else, obviously. So initially, it was like, I'm worthless, I'm unlovable, you know, I can't do anything right, but also like, F her, how could she do that to me? A lot of all that stuff.
There must have been mixed emotions
of
there,
course.
Man. Like, where did I fail, but why is she failing at the same time?
But now, through taking accountability, like, all I did was go to work. I thought that I just needed to go to work, not put hands on her, not call her outside of her name, and that was being a good husband. We didn't have date nights. I didn't tell her she was beautiful.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
Although I could sit back and be like, my marriage ended because my wife had an affair. Realistically, our marriage didn't work because I wasn't the husband that I should have been. You know what I mean?
That's not why she had an affair.
I'm not saying
right, but that's what you're. That's a beautiful level of accountability I've ever heard a man say. Most men do not do that. But at all, Jack.
But here's the thing. I needed to take accountability for those things so that in my next relationship, if I choose to get married, that I will be a proper husband, where I will always touch her lower back to let her know I'm near her, I'm around, let her know how beautiful she is. Let her know that like this is a safe place to tell me what I'm doing wrong, and I won't punish the truth. I might not like it.
Yeah.
It might hurt my feelings.
Allow me to walk away when you tell me. Allow me to give me a couple seconds to walk away and breathe it off.
I'm not saying I love it.
When I'm an asshole, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, but to take accountability in a situation, dude, I took accountability for what happened between me and Dace. Like, it was on me that I trusted that he would treat me appropriately. Like, and I know it sounds crazy to most people. I just assumed that he would treat me appropriately as a father figure, even though he wasn't my father, obviously, and even though I didn't know that he was into the things he was into, but I did play a role in that. He couldn't have done what he did to me if I didn't put myself in his presence. I'm not saying that I asked for it. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
And we're talking about somebody that's severe, that hurt you, somebody hurt you somebody that, when we say Dace, we're talking about a person that hurt you so badly.
Yeah.
That it
changed the course of my life.
It changed the course of your life forever, as did the war for me.
Yes, but realistically, I'm okay with taking accountability. Where like, it wasn't like he just showed up at my house as a stranger and was like, "Hey, I'm going to do these awful things to you." I put myself in a position.
And then was there a long period of grooming? Pardon my interruption.
Only like maybe 8 months
of grooming.
Yeah, taking me to Red Sox
making you feel safe, making you feel safe around him.
Things, but like.
That's still a long process of grooming,
even
man.
When it
he was
started,
a pro, dude.
Even when it started happening, I could have done something about it. Like I can. It's like someone that's in a relationship where they're getting mistreated. I have friends. Hey, my wife put hands on me. Okay, what are you gonna do about it? Hopefully she stops. Well, okay, so next time she does that, how about you don't complain to me because you decided to put yourself back in that situation. I love you. And I hope everything works out. But like every time we hang out, if you're choosing to put yourself back next to a person who keeps hitting you, at some point I'm going to think that you're just dumb. Or you're not hearing or you just don't have any self-worth. It goes back to what we're talking about.
I have a personal experience with what you're saying. My brother literally had this conversation with me. He said, I understand that what's happening to you isn't something that should be happening, but I don't want to hear it anymore because you're doing nothing to change it.
Yeah,
you're doing nothing to change it.
And it's not to say you don't want it to change.
Right, exactly. And he just said, hey brother, just don't talk to me about it.
Yeah, and it's hard
because I love you and I hate hearing it. I can't hear it.
Yeah,
because I can't help you.
Or let me help you. I'll go tell her to stay away from you.
Yes,
but that's not what you're asking for.
Yeah, and you're going to go right back to her if I do. So that's why, my brother had to wait for me to make the conscious decision of, hey, can I get your help? Once I asked for his help, there was no turning back.
Oh, I bet he was waiting for that day for years.
For about 6.
Yeah, man.
About 6 years. And when I said, hey, if I stay with you, am I safe? And he said, I promise you, no matter what, if you stay with me and you get that shit off your phone and you stop communicating with this person, yes, you'll be safe. Yes, I won't tell that person you're here. I won't allow that person onto the property. I won't do any of that. But if you're still engaging with this person, I don't give a fuck.
And you're taking advantage of me.
Yes.
If I'm going to let you stay here,
do not talk to me about it. I don't want to. If I hear about it, I might trust you less.
Yeah,
that's the big thing about my brother. He's like, hey man, since you've made these changes, you got to keep these changes for me to keep trusting you.
Of course.
That's so hard though because you make the
changes,
it's
hard.
And you're like, yes, right? You get the stars on the board, and you're like, I fucking got this, man.
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening is, I can hit a low.
You get comfortable. You get
comfortable in feeling like I'm doing good.
Do you think I want to go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning 6 days a week?
No.
Of course not.
No.
But I do it
because the results.
Because I feel good.
This is the results.
And it's just, it feels good. Like, it sucks sometimes. I don't like getting up in the dark while everyone else in the house is sleeping and going to the gym. But like, the 3 protein shakes I drank yesterday and the workouts that I did for the last 2 months, if I just stop now, like what was it really all for?
Right. Where does the dedication start and where does the dedication end?
If I stop,
dedication is a constant thing,
it's
right?
tough. If I decide to stop telling the truth to somebody that I care about, like sometimes I want to lie. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't want to be like, Hutch, man. I think you're messing up, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I would love to just be like, I would love for it to be like right it is right now, where we're just unified with a goal to do something together to try and help some people, or just even
And help ourselves in the middle,
Of
man.
course,
Dude, the
yes.
best part about our conversations, Jack, and let me say this outright, is that I learn more about myself talking to somebody that I trust really does have my best intentions at heart. But when do you find that? When do you know that that's one of those people? Because I recently,
you find them in the trenches, dude.
I know, but recently I thought I was in the trenches. I thought I found somebody that had my back.
I know.
And how did that work out? You know what
It turned out to be that
The
weird
opposite.
validation. They were looking
Yes.
for something, but
Yes.
made it seem like they were trying to bring something. I mean, it's a Trojan horse.
And what happened, what was great, is that I had people that I could call and say, hey, this is what happened. What do you think?
Yeah,
You
I
were
was
one of those
yeah.
people.
Yeah.
My brother was one of those people. My buddy Brad was one of those people. Hey, what do you think? And all three of you said the same thing. Fuck them.
And if you think
Fuck
about
them.
it,
You don't need them.
compare it to the relationship that you were in for 4 to 7 years or whatever. It took you 4 to 7 years to realize this isn't good for me. I deserve better. I'm out. What did the last one take? 30 days?
30.
Think
no,
about
not even 2 weeks.
Think about the progress.
2 weeks. It
Think
took
about
2 weeks to be like, okay, this is not a thing I want to have.
So the last
happening.
time I went through this experience, it took me 7 years to smarten up and fix it. Now it took me 3 weeks. I mean, I don't know any better definition than progress. If I start a business and it takes me 7 years to make $100,000, but I start a second business and I make $100,000 in 3 weeks, I'm a much better business owner.
You obviously
End
you've
of
learned
story.
some lessons. Yeah, period.
You might do
Period.
it again, and maybe you'll end it in 3 days. After one date, maybe you'll see the signs. But that's just progress. Like this next time I get married, I will be a better husband. Maybe I'll slip up and I'll think I have it, and I'll get married a third time, and I promise you I'd be a better husband the third time. Just like I have friends that I no longer know as, like, I don't have in my life anymore because I wasn't good at being a friend. I was selfish.
Yeah.
I haven't lost a friend since I've been clean because I became a better friend. Like it's all relative.
I've lost friends because I had a different definition of the word friend.
Yeah.
I was being very general and loose with the definition of the word friend. You are a friend.
Yeah.
I was calling people friends that were acquaintances that said they loved me. Yeah. They used that word though. And when somebody tells me I love you, I really mean it when I say that.
That's a scary thing because when someone says they love me, I assume they
love me the same way I love them.
I assume that when they say I love you, it means what I believe love to be. So I'm like, holy shit, they're never gonna leave. They're gonna have my back, even if
if
they
I'm
don't
fucking up.
Even if they don't believe in what I'm saying, they're gonna have my back, and then afterward be like, hey man,
what the
you
fuck
were
were you
wrong,
thinking?
but like I got you. But let's not make that same mistake again. But I got you.
Right.
That's a mistake. It's
And
not
then-
a mistake. You should trust them until they prove you wrong. I shouldn't say that it's a mistake to
Dude,
trust someone.
you know what? Now that on the other end of it, which is, I mean, it's only been a couple of weeks, but on the other end of it, I feel so much more enriched as a person because I didn't do what I'm used to doing in those situations.
Just
Lashing out.
Ride it out.
Yeah, this time all I did was kept my mouth shut. Worked
You
harder.
spoke up. You spoke up and said, hey, this doesn't feel right. We need to talk about it. And you found through trying to have those conversations with that person, after talking to me, after talking to your brother, after talking to Brad, you found out, oh wow, she's not even willing to talk about what is hurting my feelings or what I feel isn't working. That's weird. I don't like that. If I'm willing to say, hey, my feelings are hurt, or I don't like it when this happens, or it would really make me feel important if you did these things, and it doesn't even land. It's not like they heard you and was like, maybe. They were like, this is offensive. How could you ask me for this?
How dare you? How dare you even try to do that?
That's wild.
I'm talking more about, I guess I'm still focused on this because the most recent thing that happened was like, I was considering these people like my fucking friends, bro. Like, I truly believe that these people
I know what you're talking about.
supported me.
Yeah.
But had my best interest at heart. But what happened was,
They did
until it looked as if I could do this on my own and there was no benefit to be made off of me. Then it was like, I don't have to respect you the same.
Similar story. My wife looked at me the way that those friends looked at you until she saw that she could do it on her own or found something better, and all of a sudden I was a piece of shit. It's not you. It wasn't me. We have free will.
Right, and I it's not like I lacked communication in the situation. I kept the line wide open. I even apologized
I know.
to someone
I know.
that lied out of their a grown ass man,
I know.
lied straight through his teeth, had done things to fucking come to bring my situation down, and lied and said they didn't. And I actually, you know what? I said, okay, fuck it, man. I'll still give this person an apology for whatever they feel they had to do that. Why ever they felt they had to do that. If any action I did made them feel they had to do that, I want to forgive me, please.
My bad, yeah.
And that's what I did. So I asked forgiveness, and the person never responded, which is what told me I was totally in the right on that one.
But at some point, I promise you, you will see what happened, how they behaved, how they treated you as a blessing, because instead of you now being in that friendship for the next 5 years and then this happening, it happened now. They bowed out, you know, they showed you what they were really about. So like when someone
And it
shows you
happened
who
quickly.
they are, believe them.
Exactly.
You know?
And that the one thing that I didn't do was go back and ask for more pain.
Yeah.
I just said,
You
know
can,
what?
if you want.
And I didn't bring any pain to them. I sought no revenge. You know what I did? I put my nose to the grindstone.
I know.
I called you more.
Yeah.
I got working on other things. I made sure that what they were saying, what their actions were telling me weren't true.
You know what that is?
What?
Self-worth.
Hey, and we made it. We made it all the way back, baby. Pound it out.